Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, April 4th. It is 6:19 right now. Market's going to open in about 11 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple of things here to update, and we should be good to go. All right, looks like we are good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, so as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. On the daily chart. It's good. Down to the 4 hour. Going down to the 2 hour. Going down to the 1 hour. Going down to the 15-minute. Down to the 10-minute. And it looks like we are good to go. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, April 4th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I've marked up liquidity over here. Closest levels of liquidity right here are going to be at 39,722. Looks like this might get hit pre-market, but we'll see what happens here when market opens. Going over to our clean chart over here, I'm going to mark up 6:30. Mark up 8 o'clock. I'm going to go up to the 4 hour time frame. Mark up structure over here. Markup structure down here. Markup structure, or I'll leave the structure alone because it's still pending. I'll go down to the 1 hour time frame. That looks good. So we don't really have much of a resistance right there. So I've marked up pretty much the clean chart right here. Have everything lined up. And we are good to go. Here's our BB3 chart, guys. There's no double bodies on either side right now. Right here is just a regular top or a regular high, and this is regular low. The pending double body right here on the bottom end, but it's not closed yet. Looking over here at the PRB chart, we're currently in a bullish trend, so we might be having a buy here for the PRB. Going over to our main chart, we had news this morning at 4:30 and 5:30. I'm going to mark that up first. So news over here at 4:30. And of course, 5:30 over here. So we got news marked up right there. We have more news at 7 o'clock, which is low impact. Loan pack news at 7:30, and that's pretty much it. So we got loan pack news at 7 o'clock and 7:30, and that's pretty much it for today. So I'm gonna make an announcement a little bit, guys. I'm gonna wait for majority of people to come in here. And then I'll make the announcement. It's either going to be a really good announcement to people, or it's not really going to make a big difference. I think it's actually going to be a good announcement for you guys. Due to the current conditions of my PA accounts, I have to make some changes here with regard to my trading strategy. Not really a change, but a return to my original way of trading. All right, so I'll give a few more moments for people to make their way in, and I'll give you guys a heads up of like what my plan is moving forward with my PA accounts for the most part. So if you guys are just joining, I've marked up liquidity here, marked up our clean chart. There's no zones that are nearby, no support and resistance that's close to current price. There's a pending support on the 4-hour, which price is currently in, but it's not established yet until the market moves on to the next candle. Looking over here for the BB3, there's a double body on the bottom right here, but we currently have a buy signal, so there's not going to be a buy here. For the PRB, we currently are in a bullish trend, so right here we'll be looking for a possible buy with regard to the PRB. Looking over here on our main chart, we had news this morning, which is super far below. We're now super far up right here. Otherwise, there's nothing really in place right now. So, all right, guys, looks like majority of you guys are here so far. So my big announcement that I was going to announce to you guys today is because of the current condition of my PA accounts, I am going to go back to my original way of trading. So if you guys have been trading with me over the past couple of years, you guys know that I typically go for high probability scalps. That's going to be my main focus for the time being, at least for my PA accounts. I'll probably still be taking the BB3 on my personal account because it doesn't have the trailing drawdown limit. But on my PA accounts right now, I do have the trailing drawdown limit. So unfortunately, I only have, so much to work with right now with regard to my PA accounts. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be applying my original strategies that we've done in the past. So my main focus is going to be the MPS, the breakout V3 continuation. That's pretty much it for me personally. That's going to be like my official trades that I'll be taking. I'll probably try to take the BB3. I have like so many charts open now on my computers. So I have one chart, which is this Ninja Trader. That's my personal account, where I will probably be applying the breakout V3. Yeah, I mean, other than that, that's pretty much what I'll be doing. So if you guys have been part of the group for a while, you guys already know what we're looking for. I mean, I've already been looking for it here normally, but that's going to be my main focus. So my main focus isn't going to be on the BB3 anymore. It's going to be on the momentum pullback scalp and the breakout V3 continuation. We'll be looking at red flags, so we'll be looking for things to avoid, stuff like that. But for the most part, it's just going to go back to what we were doing before. We focus on mainly the BB3, which I think will be a benefit for majority of you guys because majority of you guys do like those strategies anyways. Previously, I used a 10-30 split. I'm going to be using a 10-25 split for today, or for time being, because the volatility is kind of low. If the volatility gets very high, I'll go back to a 10-30 split. But right now, I'm going to be using a 10-25 for pretty much all of my trades. And then I'll be trading a separate account over here on my third screen with my personal account for the BB3. So just to make that clear, guys. But for the most part, the official trades are going to be the scalps only. So basically the momentum pullback scalp and the breakout V3 continuation. And so my goal every day is going to be, and here comes Steven. I'm not going to explain myself again, but I'll just kind of break it down a little bit. So my goal for the day is 1-2 wins. And if I have one loss, I'm done for the day. I'm cutting myself off for the day. So I'll keep looking for trades, but for myself personally, in order to have structure and understand my risk properly, I'll be aiming for 1 or 2 wins. And then if I have one loss, I'll be done trading on my own accounts, but I'll keep looking for trades. So just, keep that in mind. So you guys got to pay attention. You guys can't be like not paying attention because the trades come up quickly. You guys will know when I'll be entering the trades because I'll be marking it up myself on here, but you guys have to be paying attention. So just keep that in mind. And we'll get to it. So, all right, guys, the market is going to open shortly in about 5 seconds. And we're ready to look for these scalps here. All right, so market is now open right here. So mark this up across the board. Let's take that off. That's pointless right now. All right, so we are good to go, guys. The upper liquidity right here got hit already. So if you guys took that full TP on liquidity here, there's a full TP right there for the liquidity. That's the closest level. I don't see any other levels nearby. Looking over here on our main chart, guys, we currently don't have any entries available here just yet. PRB is setting up right here. So if you guys are looking to take the PRB, we do have the initial wick rejection right here off the pivots. We're now looking for some space consolidation. If we get that there, the PRB will set up shortly. All right, other than that, we are good right now. All right, so I'm looking for the momentum pullback scalp, guys. Come up first. That's going to be the first entry that I'm looking for here. The ATR is currently at 13, so it's actually pretty slow right now. As you guys know, for the momentum pullback scalp, we need an ATR of at least 15. These text boxes, they can't even. I don't know why they make these text boxes so hard to. Okay. So momentum pullback scalp right here. I don't know if I can leave this on the screen, guys. The text boxes suck on. I'm gonna send them a message because they're hard to control now. They're not easy to just drag around. Yeah, so basically, these are the requirements for the momentum pullback scalp. This momentum hasn't been used yet, so technically there could still be a MPS come up within this momentum. I was just looking back over here. There's been no entry yet from it. We had a buy signal that price pushed up, retraced down right here. It was too close to the level, so there still has not been a MPS that has come up yet. If anything, if price starts to consolidate right here, I'll just wait for the next momentum. And that's kind of what it looks like right now. It looks like there's not too much going on here. Yeah, exactly. Daniel said he doesn't like those triple wicks on top. Me neither. So I'm going to wait for the next momentum signal before taking the MPS here. I mean, the MPS might come up right here, but like I said earlier, it might not because this candle might come down super hard. So I'll be looking for the next MPS that comes out. I'm going to skip this one right here. Yeah, exactly. Daniel said no power. There's no power right there. It's kind of just going back and forth. It's really just consolidating around this area. As you guys know from the red flags, I'll put them back over here. So we don't trade when price is near sessions. We don't trade when price is near opening price, near news price, candle prior to entry is too large, or when price is ranging or consolidating. Right here, price is right at opening price. So that's like one red flag right there. The other red flag here is that price is ranging and consolidating, right? So with that said, there's no entries that we're going to take right now. We're going to wait for price to break out of this range, this consolidation, and then we will start looking for entries once we have the opportunity. So if you guys are just joining, just a reminder, my main focus is going to be the momentum pullback scalp and the breakout V3 continuation, similar to what we were doing before we started focusing mainly on the BV3. The main reason for that is because my PA counts are very low with regards to trailing drawdown, so I have to trade a bit more aggressively to get out of this hole. Once I get out of this hole, I can probably go back to the BB3, but I have to adjust my risk. But until then, I've got to scalp my way out of this. So main focus moving forward here is going to be our main scalps or my main scalps. You can apply any scalps here, but for me, I'm looking at the MPS and breakout V3 continuation. That's all I'm doing. And these strategies require a lot of focus. So make sure you guys are paying attention. You guys can't just be walking off and making coffee and using the bathroom and coming back and then missing the trade, because that's typically what happens with majority of people. These scalps happen super quickly. So you gotta be paying attention. Scalps are gonna come up like within, you never know when they're gonna come up because it's hard to really, well, right now there's a pending pending entry that can be active at any moment. When there's no buy signal here or there's no catalyst or like there's no setup, then you go ahead and take your break or whatever. But for the most part right now, we have an active opportunity that can come up. So you just gotta keep in mind. And the way that I'm calculating this is well, for me personally, I don't really have much drawdown. So I'm doing very, very small. You guys are probably not using anything close to what I'm using. I'm using 2 contracts on my PAs. On my personal account, I'm still going to take the BB3 on that one because that's going to be my hedge fund account. Or I'm going to try to take it if I can. And I'll be taking regular contracts on that one. So the contracts is going to vary by your account size of like what you have left. For me, I don't have very much left on my PAs. So I mean, it's kind of do or die for me right now with regard to my PAs. If I blow the PAs, it's fine. It just gives me an excuse to start my 300K accounts, right? So yeah, I'm gonna take it as is and we'll see. Hopefully I can pull out of this because I would hate to do another eval. It takes forever, especially on 300K. I think for the 300K, it's gonna take over a month for me to maybe 2 months to pass because it's just such a big account. It's such a big account and it requires more wins to pass. So as you guys can see right here, price is pretty much consolidating. I'll just draw some structure here. I'll try to draw a structure when I see them come up, just so that you guys can be aware of like, where the consolidation is happening. Because the consolidation is happening right here. It's just not super obvious because there's no lower low. Once a lower low establishes, I'll be able to identify it more properly. Right here, you can see it's just a high low. But if this drops even further, this will start to set up for a lower low. I think if this candle drops further than this low right here, it's going to be a lower low. And there we go. It came up exactly where I said it would, right there. So once this here is established, I'll draw another structure down here. And once we have that structure, we can identify, okay, this is where price is actually ranging from. And once we have the range, that's going to be key because then I can measure the range and I can identify, is price ranging or is it consolidating, right? Because if it's below like 500 points, like right here, for example, it's below 500 points, this is going to be considered, just a regular consolidation. If it's bigger, like 700 to 800, then this is going to be a decent range. Like it's a range to the point where you can still trade within it. When it's consolidating, I'm going to keep away from it. But if it's ranging in a big range, then I'll be okay with still taking trades, within that area, because it's going to show that price can still move back and forth versus moving in a sideways motion like this, which is what we don't want. So we don't want consolidation. Range is fine, but we don't want a tight consolidation. That's what we're trying to avoid here. So looking over here at the PRB, there is nothing here yet. So we had buy signal here, price came down, rejected off the pivot over here on open, price came up, we had space, price never rejected off the pivot again, and now it's down below here. So you have to wait again for this here to reset. Looking over here at the BB3, there's no BB3 entries, so there's just nothing available right now at the moment. Price is kind of pulling back down into this lower range, which is completely fine. I'm going to check CNBC real quick, see if there's any news that came out. So a little update right here. It says Dow opens more than 25 points higher Thursday following 3 straight losses. The Dow sounds like us right now, right? Not 3 straight losses, but sounds just like us. Yeah, so Nick over here identified this as a BV3 continuation. This is against the trend, so I'm not taking it. I only take BV3 continuations with the trend. So with my normal scalps, as you guys know, there's three factors that I factor in. I look at the retail sentiment. Retail sentiment right now is currently 66% short. So this is indicating for me to take buys because retail traders are on the short side. So with this regard, I am looking for buys. Looking over here at the fundamentals, the fundamentals are currently up 200 points. So I'm obviously looking for some buys here. And then lastly, I'm looking over here at the trend. The trend here is bullish. So I'm not looking for any sells. I'm only looking for buys here. BV3 might be setting up down here, guys. So if you guys are looking to take the BV3, this here could be setting up. So BV3 plus, also continuation. So I'll be taking the continuation if it comes up. It's got to be away from opening price. So I'm hoping it comes up before opening price. Not looking like it here, but we can dream, right? We'll see. All right, so we have a lower structure right here now. There you go. You can see price is currently ranging or consolidating, whatever you want to consider it. I think this right here, the range is currently, it's kind of tight. It's not super small, but it is kind of tight. But yeah, there is somewhat of a range right here right now. ATR is currently at 15. Nice. So Oscar over here caught this V1 variation. Nice work, Oscar. It's another one of the strategies that we typically like to look at for multiple reasons. All right, so we got price pushing up right here. If we get a buy signal that breaks and closes past the opening price and comes up higher, then this could still be opportunity for a breakout V3 continuation. The regular breakout V3 is still setting up. We need that buy signal. Once we get the buy signal right there, that's going to be the setup for it. But you guys can see price is pretty much ranging within this area. The range isn't super wide. It's not exactly the range that I was looking for. There's no momentum pullback scalps until we get that buy signal. This buy signal is pretty much going to be the catalyst for all of the strategies. So this buy signal, as soon as it closes, it's going to set up, it's going to allow us to look for momentum pullback scalps. It's also going to give us the opportunity to look for BB3s and the BB3 continuation. But that's pretty much the catalyst there. We're looking for that buy signal. Until that buy signal closes, there's no entries available, at least not yet. So we continue to wait a bit longer. I was hoping today would be a little volatile, or at least decently volatile, so that we can start looking for entries pretty much early on. But from my experience, I've been looking at the charts. The entries typically come up either early or they come up in the mid-session. The one thing with my scalps is that once it hits around 740 back here, this is typically where I don't want to trade anymore because that's when the volatility dies down. However, it seems like the market's been a little bit more inverted lately, where it's been kind of slow in the beginning and then it picks up towards the end and then it dies out at the very end. So we'll see, but you guys can see right here that price is pretty much going sideways. If price continues to go sideways like this, I'm not going to take any scalps until price moves out of this area. So you can kind of see it's pretty obvious here that price is consolidating within this area, right? So if that's the case, then no scalps until we're out of this consolidation. Because if you guys remember from the red flags over here, that is one of the red flags. No entries when price is ranging or consolidating. Ranging is okay, but for the most part, consolidating. I just put it both there because some people call it ranging, some people call it consolidating, but it's the same thing. If it's a big range, I'm okay. But if it's a small range like it is right here, obviously no entries. So we're sticking to the red flags, sticking to the game plan, and hopefully we'll get some entries today. Main goal today, or per usual, is like 1 or 2 entries. So it's not really a big deal that we don't have any entries here. We still have a lot of time to go before we get to that point. If price decides to swing to the bottom end, that's fine too. All right. So there's no breakout V3. There's no PRV. There's no scalps. There's no nothing right now. I'm gonna leave the structure here because price might just fake out, right? Price might come down a little bit right here, fake out, and then come back up. Yeah, exactly. Next, we need this to push on this candle or the next. Maddie said one absolute entry. All right, so it looks like sentiment here is changing a little bit. Thanks, Maddie, for the heads up. Sentiment's currently at 66% short. This indicates that 66% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So we typically want to do the opposite and buy, which goes in favor with what we're looking at anyways. We're looking for price to swing back up. Looking at this here, if price continues to drop lower, you guys can see how the pivots are starting to shift a little bit. If the pivots come below the red pivot over here, which is level 4, then the trend shifts. And at that point, there's not going to be any entry to take here at all. So again, we just got to sit tight. Price might just fake out right here and swing right back up. That's the typical move that we've been seeing lately. Price comes down a little bit, lures in sellers, fakes out, and comes right back up into the range. All right, so the pivots are starting to shift a little bit, as you guys can see right here. The pivot shift, that means there's no longer going to be there's no longer going to be a bullish bias right now. We'll go to our entries. So the trend is going to be number 1 for me, of course. Everything else is additional. So if the trend here is bearish, or if it's not going in any direction, I'm not looking for any entries here. So at this moment, I'm not looking for any entries. I'm looking for the trend here to confirm. Once the trend is confirmed, I'll start looking for entries again. But right here at the moment, I'm going to be chilling out, just waiting for price here to swing back up, or if it continues to drop down lower, confirm that we're now in a bearish trend, which we're currently not. So as you can see over here, the trend is shifting, but there's no confirmation that the trend is actually bearish yet. All right, so price is a little. So this is what might happen. Price might come down to the sessions and then bounce off the sessions. That's going to be target price point. Otherwise, I'm going to look for a fake out in any area here. So price could just fake out at any point. It doesn't actually have to come down to the sessions. But if price does come down this low, that's going to be the target price point for price to swing back up from. All right, Matt, see you. Have a safe flight. Matt flying back from Cambodia to Fort Wayne. All right, so we got nothing here. We have no pivot, no PRBs, no BB3s. Leave this alone for now. Here's our main chart again. Still nothing here. So I'll leave this higher high here marked up, just so that we can see where the resistance is sitting. I'll leave that right there so that we can see the structure. And here's our clean chart. So once a new low gets established down here, I'll mark up a new low there. You can see where the range is actually going to be established and set. All right, so price is coming down to the sessions right here, exactly where we expected. So it doesn't necessarily have to touch. You can just get near it and then swing right back up. But this is an area of manipulation. It's the New York high and the London high. It's on the same price point. Oh, this is the wrong chart. Sorry, guys. I was wondering where my sessions went. All right, so price is rejecting directly off the sessions right there. If this candle closes green, it's going to be a double body. This could be setting up for a possible breakout V3. It's got to close though. It has 25 seconds left on it, so that's a lot of time. I think a lot of you guys like me trading this way anyways with the regular scalps because I'm more active on the chart. I'm not kind of just hanging around. I'm actively analyzing the charts pretty much candle by candle, and you guys will see what's going on in my mind and also on the charts. So I think the change back to our old trading style is beneficial for all of us. The one thing that I hated about taking the BB3 before was that we would trade during news. That was like one of my pet peeves because I hate trading during news. Red flags, we've lived by red flags for years now. It's been like, I think 5 years since I've introduced the red flags to you. And lately when we've been taking the breakout B3, we haven't really been paying attention to it at all. And that was kind of like a trigger for me because that was something that was really big. We had such a good win rate for the past like 5 years now. I think every year we've closed out with above like 80%, close to 90% win rate every year. Because the main reason for that is because we avoided the red flags. So big difference. All right, guys. So if this candle here closes green, we're not going to count this as a double body. It doesn't even matter because it didn't close green. But I wouldn't have counted that as a double body because it would have been the same color as the previous candle. So this goes back to what we were talking about yesterday. The double bodies and double wicks have to be on opposite candles, like opposite colored candles, because it needs to be a reversal pattern. It can't just be like a random candle next to each other. All right, looking over here at the pivots on the PRB chart, you can see that the pivots are starting to shift to a sell, which is completely fine. And we will start looking for a possible sell here if this continues down lower. So price is still sitting around the sessions right here. And this is what I was mentioning earlier. The sessions is an area of manipulation because whenever price gets to this point, it's going to choose which direction it wants to go. It might not be a clean path, but it's going to choose a direction eventually. So it's going to probably move around this area back and forth. And eventually it's going to break out to the upside or it's going to break out to the downside. So this again right here could be another fake out. So just be careful whenever you trade around the sessions because, we live by this for like so long. Sessions, news price, opening price, etc. These areas are really highly manipulated points where we typically want to avoid them if and whenever possible. So price is coming back down to the earlier news from this morning. This news was from 4:30 and 5 o'clock. You guys can see price pushed up super heavy right here from 5:30, and then now it's coming right back to news. Right, had this big bullish push and it just corrects right back down right here. So once we're past the sessions here, the next target price points are going to be these areas down here. So just look out for that. And this will be probably another area of correction, if we get that opportunity. Yeah, exactly. CJ said, I agree. I had to untrain my mind when it came to trading during news. Yeah, same here. And it always like when you trade during news, it's a huge risk, right? Because you never know where price is going to go. Like price could be negative or the news can be negative and price will still go up or news can be positive and price can go straight down. And it would always mess with us whenever we're in a position, especially with the BB3, because you have no control over that. And then there's no opportunity to pull out early from a BB3 because we didn't really set that strategy up for something like that. At least with the momentum pullback scalp, there's opportunities to pull out early if you need to, cut your losses, and you can avoid things like news. Yeah, exactly. Kenny said the BB3 is a lot less stressful on the charts, but not in the P&L. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Kenny. Yeah, no, definitely. Let's see. So you guys are talking about the liquidity over here. So there is a liquidity down below here. I mean, price is definitely overextended. What I would do is I'd measure it from the nearest high, and price has dropped about 100 points. So it's very overextended right here. The only problem here too, as well, is that there's a sessions down there. I think so. Yeah. So this is right next to the Asia high right here. So this is going to be a bit of a problem because when price gets down to this point, it's probably going to get manipulated, right? It might just spike down really quickly, trigger the liquidity, and then it might just swing back up. Yeah, the red flags are tricky because sometimes they'll end up really close, like this. I hate when they end up close to your entry because you can look over here. When price got down to the red flag down here, look what happened. It did exactly what I just mentioned. Um, like the same pattern can happen again where price will come down just like it did right here, kind of mess around down here a bit, and then completely reverse, right? And that's exactly what could happen here too. Price will come down, mess around here for a bit, and completely reverse. So just keep that in mind. If you guys want to take liquidity, feel free. You know, all these entries, it's up to you guys if you guys want to take them or not. But I just want to give you guys a heads up that liquidity is sitting right at the sessions. So I mean, personally, I wouldn't take it. You know, I'm a very conservative trader overall. So I would probably just sit out and wait. I'm looking for this new low to be established, but it just keeps dropping lower and lower. There's no breakout V3s here. There's no PRBs available yet. We do have a bearish trend, so we'll look for price to swing back up, reject off the pivot, come back down, double rejection, and continuation down. So we'll be looking for some stuff here. Yeah, price is currently at the news price from below. And we'll see if it actually swings up back from here. But we are in a bearish trend, so we're looking for a sell here, possibly. We are possibly looking for a sell, but we need that retracement first. We need a confirmation of retracement, then continuation back down. Let's see. Yeah, Maddie says he's going to sit out of liquidity because of the sessions. And also the Fed is speaking later today in the late morning. Kind of glad that we're a little more engaged in the market now again, because the market would get kind of boring sometimes, especially when we're just waiting for the BB3 and there's nothing else to look at. Yeah, you know, the market would get super boring. I think now that we're like super more engaged, we would be looking for more opportunity here. Let's see, Nicholas is asking, is price too overextended for the MPS? For me personally, yes, because price is down like about 100 points already. But if you are looking for the MPS, I mean, it could technically still play through. The only problem with it here is that it's probably going to be close to the sessions and news price. So if you look over here, like if the entry comes up near where price is currently at right now, I wouldn't take it personally because of the red flag, right? Because we have the news price and we have the sessions right here. For you, however, if you want to take it, you know, feel free. But for me, obviously, I'm very conservative when it comes down to the regular scalps. So I'm not going to take any trades that are around red flags here. So we will have to continue looking for price to push away from this area here. So it looks like price might test this lower session. We're getting a double body right here. So price might just correct back up from this point. So we're getting a double body right here. This could be a setup for a BB3. For anybody who's looking to take it, I'll probably take this on just my personal account, but not on my PA account. So my official trades for my PA accounts and all my accounts in general are going to be the scalps here. Which for the scalps, we'll probably be looking for some sells. PRB still hasn't set up. BB3 still waiting for this candle here to close green. It's got to close green in order for it to have that double body rejection right there. All right, so we got the double body rejection right there. Back to our main chart. Looks like we finally got a support down here. So this is the 1 minute resistance level. This is the 1 minute support level. and this right here as well. So the BB3 here could be setting up, it looks like. It's gonna be right next to news. It's low impact news, but still news nonetheless. We have inflation rate year over year. I mean, it's low impact because you kind of already know where the interest rate is. It's not like, it's like really changed very much. All right, so this right here would be a BB3 if it closes with a green candle after. So if you guys are still looking to take the BB3, I'll mark it up for you guys here. I'll probably take it on my personal account, but I'm not taking it on any of my other accounts because, I mean, obvious reasons, right? So again, if this candle closes green, this is the only entry that's up. There's no PRBs that are available yet. For our scalps over here, we're actually looking for sells, but there's no opportunities here available yet either. This is just going to be the BB3. So I'm not taking this on my PA accounts. Just a heads up, guys. Another reminder, not taking this on my PA, which is all of my funded Apex accounts.
Order filled.
Order filled.
This is only for my personal account, guys. Being a stupid thing. It required that I confirm something here, so it's not. I gotta figure out how to make adjustments here. Orders. I don't know how to change 638. Okay, made some adjustments right there. Yeah, when I entered it, because I've never used the web trader for NinjaTrader, it made me confirm before entering the trade. So I had to make some adjustments to the TP stop loss. That's only on my personal account. So for the main accounts that I mentioned earlier, I'm only taking scalps, which I don't have right now. There's no scalps available at the moment, and there's no PRV available at the moment either. But the breakout V3 is currently running. That's the only trade that's currently running right now. And yeah, other than that, that's about it. So if you guys want to take it, I mean, I'm still going to mark it up for you guys. And I'm still going to take it on my personal account because my personal account is my hedge account. So I kind of have to. I don't have an option not to. That's going to be running my hedge fund trades. All right, so this here is currently climbing up. So in the future, guys, I will go back to the BB3. Just keep that in mind. I just have to, it's going to be slightly, I'll think about that another day. Because I just realized if I'm going to be scalping, like regular scalping on my Apex accounts, I'm probably going to buy another laptop to run 2 separate NinjaTraders at once. Because I don't know how I'm going to be able to run it's going to be hard to run multiple strategies on one system. Yeah, I'll think about that another day. But I will go back to the BB3. So the BB3 is not going anywhere. I'm still going to be using it for probably personal accounts, but probably not for Apex. Or maybe I will. I mean, who knows? Yeah, I mean, who knows? I might keep using it. It's just I need to get out of this hole that I'm currently in with my PA accounts. Otherwise, I mean, the BV3 is still great. There's nothing wrong with it. The only problem is that my risk was kind of adjusted. So if you guys remember from yesterday and the day before, for the past 2 weeks, I've been doing some dumb stuff. I've been increasing my contract size when I wasn't supposed to. But now that we've kind of like thought back to it, I understand what I did wrong. I just went too high with risk too early. But if I controlled it better, it would have been beneficial for the account. So it's all good. I made mistakes. You know, we all make mistakes. Apex is still kind of new to all of us. So now that I've learned from like over leveraging and over risking too early on, I know in the future that I'm just going to calculate my risk differently for the trades. But the BV3 is super simple because it's like you don't have to really think very much. You just take the trade and you let the trade run. And that's what I liked about it the most. The only thing I didn't like about it was that you would take trades during news and you would take trades, you know, under all conditions. Like even if the market's super slow, we would still take the trade. Like for example, right now, the market is ranging and consolidating right here, super slow. So it's not ideal. It's not the ideal market conditions that you want to trade in, to say the least. So I got news right here marked out. But again, I'm not in any positions on my PA accounts. This trade is only running on my personal account because I have to track it. That's the only way I can track the trade is if it's taken on at least one of the accounts. And for that account, it's going to be my hedge account, of course. That's where I'm going to be running the hedge fund trades in the future. But as you can see, it's not really doing much. It's still kind of just sitting right down the middle. So I'm just going to leave it as is, and we'll keep looking for any other opportunities here that may come up. So the PRB over here might be starting to set up for a sell. We do have the rejection right here. It's going a bit opposite of the BB3. But I mean, we'll see if this here actually plays through. If it doesn't, then it's fine, and we'll keep following it through. So right here for the PRB, we have the rejection off the pivot. We're now looking for a possible space consolidation candle. Looking over here at the regular scalps, this is where it's going to get a little tricky. Well, I mean, we're not going to have any entries here because it's right in between the news over here. So either or, we wouldn't be able to take any regular scalps around this point because it is currently right next to all these news candles, or not news candles, but news price. Pink lines right here are news price. The purple line down here is the Asia high. The green line right here is going to be the London high. And opening price is like way up here. But there's not really much here to, look at. Price is still kind of moving slow. The ETR is currently at 14 right now. You know, I'm kind of glad we're not in the breakout V3 because the breakout V3 is a mess. I mean, it's not a mess, but right now the price is currently a mess as it continues to go sideways. It's just stressful when you're in a BV3 and this is like what you're banking on for the day and it just goes sideways like that. It's a breakout strategy, so it's supposed to break out, right? It's supposed to go straight to TP. But lately, for the past 2 weeks, it's kind of just been going sideways for a bit. This is where it becomes tricky because a lot of things can happen here. Price can either shoot up, straight directly up, or it can shoot directly down. But for the time being, it's going to kind of screw with you for a bit, right? And this is why I don't trade when price is consolidating like this. Like for example, right here, if we had a scalp that came up right here, guys, I wouldn't take it because you can see how price is just going sideways. And that's considered a red flag for us. So there's no scalps coming up anytime soon. The good thing about this is that typically the market will tend to pick up a little later. Like for example, right now it's kind of slow, but the market will probably pick up like maybe like 20 minutes from now, like around 7:30, mid-market. But if it doesn't, then typically my cutoff for entries is like 7:30, 7:40-ish anyways. Yeah, so there's no PRB guys anymore. Sorry guys, thanks for the heads up. from Randy and Nick. The PRB over here is actually done with because it's past 7 o'clock, and we don't take any PRBs past 7. All right, so the BB3 is still running right now. It's currently in profit, but again, it's kind of moving slow, like snail movement. Let's scroll real quick. Nicholas said you can have 2 windows opened on Replicanto with different accounts following different master, and you can have multiple YM charts open. Oh, no way. I don't know you could do that, Nicholas. If that's the case, then yeah, I'm gonna look into that. That's probably why it has the 2 machines, huh? I'm curious, do you do that yourself, Nicholas, or do you have a video that explains that? Because if that's the case, then yeah, I'll just keep everything on one laptop, and then I'll just have 2 Replicanos. I'll have one Replicano with all my Apex accounts, and I'll have another Replicano with my hedge accounts. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Thanks, Nicholas. I didn't look at the bottom on the Replicano. Oh, I see. So you have a separate tab. Oh, what? That's crazy. Okay. No, okay, that's cool. Thanks, Nicholas. That's a game changer. Okay, perfect. So looks like I already do have a setup for multiple copiers. That's nice. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, perfect. Have them on each screen, split 50-50. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that's super clutch. I didn't know you could do that. So yeah, no, it's cool. That is cool that you could do that. So I guess I don't need 2 laptops, which is perfect. I just need 2 Replicanos set up so that I can have one for just Apex and one for the other account. All right, so the breakout V3 is still running, guys. This is a very long breakout V3, as you guys can see. It's the volatility is picking back up, but it's been running for about 11 minutes now, almost 12. It's a long breakout entry. But on top of that, there's still no other entries available for us here. I mean, price is still sitting within this range, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And we got to deal with it right now. The price is swinging back up, it looks like. I mean, the 10 minutes still bullish. 15 minutes kind of mixed. 1 minute is bearish, swinging back up. Price is pushing up to these sessions. BB3 is almost at its TP. Well, thanks, Nicholas. Yeah, next, so once you have your final setup, you just gotta save it in workspaces. Nice. Okay, cool. So BB3 is still running, guys. This thing's running forever. It looks like a lot of you guys here pulled out already. So Casey over here got out with 600, 700. Oh, he pulled out early because he only had like low drawdown. Yeah. If you guys want to pull out here, you guys feel free to pull out. On my personal account, I don't have trailing drawdown, so that's why I can kind of just hold on to it if I want. But if you guys are on your Apex account, you probably want to pull out because this thing is like, I mean, it becomes risky right now if it ever pulls back down because of the trailing drawdown risk. Nice. Yes, Nick already got out here. He got out with 700 profit. And he closed. Yeah, Nick's US. Nick is US here too. Sadie got out. Yeah, it looks like a lot of you guys here pulled out already for the most part. Nicholas said, "Are you still trading on your FTMO?" So unfortunately, I'm not. I was gonna trade on it, but it's been inactive for too long, so they actually they canceled my account. Yeah, I mean it's okay. Yeah, because I haven't used it since like last year. I think you have to use it like once a month or once every couple months. And well, the thing is, we were in limbo for like a good like 2 months, right? For like a good month, 2 months, like they didn't open DX trade, and then DX trade opened up, and then it had so many problems in the beginning. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to trade on there yet. And then another month goes by, and I try to log into my account, and it says like account not found. Like the fuck, where's my account? So I message them, and then they tell me that I email them, and they say that because it's been inactive for X amount of time, that they pretty much just canceled my account. Which, I mean, it's all good. I wasn't really planning on going back to FTMO anyways, but it's just kind of annoying that that happened. Yeah. And this market is not super great. All right, guys. So we're not really getting much movement here. You guys can see, I mean, it's an obvious consolidation. You guys can see there's like literally no movement. The ATR is at 12 right now. It's just getting lower and lower. Um, the good thing is that it's still 716. We still have a lot of time in the market, so it's not like the market's like completely over. We're not over trading it, but the market is pretty flat, as you guys can see over here for the breakout V3. It's still running, but it's running super slow. And it just keeps going back and forth. So it seems like majority of you guys already pulled out of your positions, which is good. There's no PRB available for today because it's past 7. But we're still going to keep looking for some scalps here. So we're looking for price to kind of make it stride. It's looks like eventually it'll probably make a stride, hopefully. But right now it's just kind of sitting around where it's currently at with nothing going on. Um, let's see. Yeah, Nick said he got out right at the top. No, Omar, that's way too many. 18 straight. Well, here, let's see. Actually, let's do the math. So you have 5,000 drawdown. Your risk is going to be divided by 5 or 4. I mean, if you're doing an eval, you're going to take more risk because you can just reset the account, right? So like you're going to take more risk on eval. So like times 4. Your drawdown right there, or your contract size max drawdown for the day should be at about 1,250. So that's 10 contracts. So 10 contracts times 5 times 10, that's 500 a day. We're looking for like 1 or 2 trades. So that's 2 trades a day for the most part. So now you do the math. So 5,000 divided by 500, that's only 10 trades. And if you're doing 2 trades a day, 5,000 divided by 1,000, that's 5 days. So that's the math right there, Omar. You would take about either 10 trades, which is pretty simple. If you're doing like 1 or 2 trades a day, high probability. Um, and then, if you have 2 trades a day, which most of the time you'll have 2 or 3 trades a day, it'll take, less than 5 days usually. And these are like straight wins. So but for the most part, if you're doing the regular scalps, you're going to have a lot of straight wins because you're only looking for like the low hanging fruit. You're looking for the stuff that for sure going to hit. Nothing like the BB3 here. Like the BB3 is a break even strategy. Well, it's sort of break even. It's like a strategy that kind of goes back and forth. but you're like looking for like one net win per week with the BB3. For the other strategy, for the scalps, you're looking for a bunch of wins. You're looking for maybe like 5 to 10 wins a week if you're doing for 1 or 2 trades. So it's a big difference. Yeah, you just got to do the math. I mean, this is the biggest thing. So if you're doing an account, this is what you would typically do. Like for me, for example, I'm doing well, if I was to do if I was to like start a brand new account, right? I have 5,000 trailing drawdown. So if I was to do 5,000 trailing drawdown, like I did with with Omar here, typically if I'm on a funded account, I'm going to do divided by 5 for the week, right? Because I want to keep my risk low. But if I'm on an eval, I'm going to increase the risk just a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. So I'll do by 4 days. So 5,000 divided by 4. You just do the math there. This is how you figure out how much risk you should be taking per day, right? Once you have that risk, you're like, okay, like how many contracts can I take per trade? Because my goal every day is to take 1 or 2 loss or 1 or 2 wins and only 1 loss. If I have 1 loss for the day, I'm cut off. I'm done for the day. So this is where I'm capped out at 1,250. Say for example, you have 1 win, right? So 10 contracts times 5 times 10, you make 500, but then you have 1 loss, which is negative 250. Then you're only down to 750. You're down like almost half. And then from there, you come back the next day, you have like 2 more wins, so you make 1,000. You're now back in profit, right? And then the next day, you do the same thing. You have 2 more trades, you're back in profit. And then you just keep winning and winning and winning until you get to your goal. But that's pretty much how you would calculate it. You just have to understand what your risk is for the day. And then if you're doing a 10-30 split or a 10-20 split, I'm doing 10-25 right now. So it's actually less riskier. But yeah, I mean, it kind of just depends on the person who's trading the account. No, so so Omar said 2 straight losses would be bad though. Not really, because you're doing the math. Like that's the whole point of doing the math, right? So if you're risking 1,000, you're going to be, so your max drawdown is 5,000, right? You already did the math. So the math has to make sense. It's not going to be bad because you lose 2 days and then you're down like, what was it? 1,500 or 2,500, right? You still have 2,500 drawdown left. And then the next week, you're going to adjust the drawdown again. That's the whole point of risk management. But you wouldn't have 2 losses in 1 day, or so like I said, 1 day and you're out. Because at that point, your trade psychology is already messed up. You're probably going to lose the second time. If you lose 1 day, if you lose once in 1 day and you keep going, you're revenge trading at that point, right? Odds of you blowing your account are very likely. You're probably going to lose like 5 times and blow the account in 1 day. So that's why for me, I said, there's only 1 loss per day. You can't lose twice a day because you're calculating the risk. Like the odds of you losing like 2 back-to-back days on high probability strategies are very unlikely, right? Because you're coming back with a fresh mind. And all right, so the BB3 here didn't play through, guys. We're really glad we didn't take it on our regular accounts, because that would have been another loss right there. So this over here is only on my personal account. Like I said, I'm not taking it on my PA accounts. And I'm fine with that there. So it's good for you guys here who pulled from that trade. That's probably the best decision there. For my personal account, like I said, I can't take the trade out earlier or take it out late, because that's how that account's going to have all of my data moving forward until when the hedge fund starts. So I can't like change anything on there. It's just got to be straight. That account's still in profit. So I started that account with 5,000. I'm still up about 6. I'm in 6,000 net profit right now. So from March until now, it's still in profit, pretty decent. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep taking the trades on that account. Not really messing with it, just taking every trade, let the trade run, and then whatever happens with that account happens with that account. Because it's a long-term plan with that account. There's no trailing drawdown, so I can just keep taking calculated risks with that account and make adjustments as the account grows or as it gets smaller. So right now it's currently at 6,000. If it goes below the 6,000 mark, then I'll lower the contract size. Like right now, I think I took a 5 contract because it was above 6,000. If it goes below 6,000, I'll drop it to a 4 contract, which is a $500 risk. So, yeah, these accounts this trade only gets taken on my personal account, not my Apex accounts. My Apex accounts are only taking the scalps over here. So looking at where price is currently at right now, guys, there might be a possibility for no, actually there won't be. There won't be an MPS because the ATR is too low. So we can't get a momentum pullback scalp until the ATR picks back up to 15. Yeah, exactly. Kenny said patience is the game for long-term success and consistency. Yeah, exactly. That's why for my personal account, I can take the BB3 because I can keep eating wins and eating losses because from that strategy, from the data we pulled, I know in the long term, it's going to work out. It's just going to work out long term because that's how the strategy works. It's going to have times where it loses. It's going to have times where it wins. Like, for example, in March, we had a bunch of wins. We had a whole month of wins and like literally no losses. For this month, it just started. We're on April 4th. So it had 1 win and 3 losses so far, which is fine. That's the key. That's fine with it. And that's why I have to separate the accounts because I think we were just kind of spoiled with March, right? March was a month where we were just kind of too spoiled because we had so many wins and we didn't really encounter a lot of the losses for the BB3. The BB3 is a good strategy, but it's something that has to be applied long term. And I don't think it's something that can be applied really well with Apex. The main thing that I started to notice with Apex is, so this is a thing that kind of pissed me off. Because if you guys remember for the past 2 days, this is kind of what happened. Price would get really close to the TP and then would pull back. So the problem with this here is that the trailing drawdown follows. So when it goes into profit, instead of just having 1 loss here, you end up having more loss because you eat this loss from up here, plus you eat the loss from below, right? And that's just the problem with Apex. It's not a big problem because it works well with our normal scalps. Like, for example, the strategies that we're looking to apply right now, it'll work well with that. But with the like the breakouts, it's kind of tricky because if price goes into profit and pulls back, you're kind of screwed. It works with the regular scalps because we're only going for 10 points. So like whenever it goes into profit, you're already out in profit. You're not like getting caught in the possibility of price reversing on you. So. Yeah, that's what I'm not using old future data, Maria. I'm not backtesting anything. Or are you trying to backtest? If you're trying to backtest, you can use old future data, but I wouldn't recommend it, especially not for the breakout V3. Because the breakout V3, you're not going to get a lot of double bodies or double wicks because the data is not accurate. It's 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 going to be skewed because the data is not going to be continuous. So I'm not sure what you would like to. Yeah, if you want to backtest your strategy, you have to go and find the month. So like, for example, you type in YM, and then when you type in YM right here, it'll show you whatever month that you're on. And then from there, you put the year. So if you want to do June of 2023, you type in YMM 2023. If you want to do September of 2023, do YMU 2023. That's how you do it. You have the symbol right there, and then you just add the year to it. So you can see over here, March is done. So the March 2023, March 2024 is already, it used to be YMH 2024. It's now YMH 2025. And that's how you would do it, Mario. Ain't that a bitch? Look at that, guys. The fake out. Of course, it goes straight up, right? I don't know if there was any catalyst that really pushed price down, but that's kind of what's been happening. It's so weird. Have you guys noticed that whenever like we find a really good strategy, there's always a fake out period that happens right after. something happens that causes the fake out, which it pretty much was consolidating right here and it faked out and came back up. But this was already expected. I already mentioned this to you guys in the past that when you're holding on to a position like a breakout for more than 5 minutes, you really don't have control over the position anymore because it can really go in either direction. So I guess I'll have to do like some fine tuning with the breakout V3 because, or, we might have to have a minimum ATR because the ATR is so low. So like right here, the ATR is so low and it wasn't even going anywhere. I think if the ATR is too low, you have to just adjust your TP stop loss. Like for example, right here, it went down to 12. So I think we probably could have pulled out at like 12 and we would have hit our TP right there. So again, that'll come like maybe later along the line. I'll have to do some more testing on this to see because the ATR is a big deal. That's why like for the NPS over here, I don't take any momentum pullback scalps unless the ATR is high enough. Because the ATR it shows you exactly where price is going. If it's below 15, it's just going to go sideways, which is like literally what happened here. It just ended up going sideways. And you can see the ATR has been low pretty much all day today, so there hasn't been any entries. There's no scalps here that came up. And guys, for the results, I'm only going to be counting the ones that I'm taking on my Apex accounts. Okay, so this over here for the BB3, I'll keep a separate, and I'll do this right now too. I'll keep a separate spreadsheet with just the BB3s because it's not one of the official strategies anymore that we're taking here on the live session. But I'm still going to be taking it on my personal account. So I will add this to this over here. But for the day so far, we just don't have any entries. Okay, so this came up over here, 4/4/2024, and I'll keep data on this. So if you guys want to keep following it, it'll still be available to you. But for the official trades, I'm only taking, the regular scalps, at least for now, moving forward, until I get my accounts back to where they need to be. So it's buy, loss, 25. If you guys go to the results over here, you will see that, and I'll put notes here again. Over 20 minutes. Okay, so you guys can see this over here on the data set. You'll have one that says 2024 BB3 staff. This is just going to be the BB3 for the most part. And then over here on the regular 2024, this is going to be the official trades. So the official trades are going to be the ones that I'm personally taking myself on like multiple accounts. And the others are going to be on the separate chart. All right, so there is a possible, well, I wouldn't take it here because it's right at news. It falls under the red flags. It looks like we're probably not going to have any trades for today. Fortunately, it's 7:32 right now. As you guys know, I typically don't trade once it gets closer to like 7:40. That's when the volatility is supposed to die down. But the volatility has been pretty much dead since 7 o'clock. So for the past 30 minutes, volatility has been pretty flat over here, going sideways. I'll take this off and I'll draw structure down here so that you guys can see a little better. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? I don't really have to draw it there. You guys could already see it. So yeah, it's not really looking like we're going to have any entries for today, guys, unfortunately. It looks like majority of you guys here did pull out of your oh god, Steven. Steven. Steven's got his own lyrics over here. Nick said, "Stop the madness." Oh man. Steven's He's in his mind right now. All right, guys. So there was a pivot scalp right here that came up, but again, it was right at the news price, so it's not one that I would personally take. So I'm following all my rules here, guys. Another entry came up right here, like I said, but I wouldn't have taken it because it's right at the sessions. It's also in a consolidation phase. So there's actually a couple entries here that came up. There's one right here that came up as a pivot scalp, but again, I'm following my red flags, as you guys know. Let me just pull it up again right here. Stephen said I was getting bored. Yeah, trust me, Stephen, I was getting bored too, and we're all getting bored. Um, but this is just one of those days. And this is one thing that you guys have to remember too. Like in the past, for our regular scalps, there's going to be a lot of days where there's just not going to be any entries. I mean, lately there's been a lot of entries. Unfortunately, the first day that I decided to come back and do this, there's no official entries for us to take here. But as you guys can see down here, when to avoid trades, right? When prices near sessions, prices in your sessions right now per se, but it is kind of close to it. When prices in your opening price, price is up here, so that's fine. When prices in your news price, there was a lot of news down here. All these pink lines are news, so I'm not taking any trades on this point. There's a pivot scalp right here. There's another pivot scalp right here, but again, this all falls within red flags. It falls within news price. It also falls within ranging and consolidating price movement. So with that said, there's no entries here for me to take personally. But if you guys do want to take them, feel free. For me, I'm really strict about my red flags because I don't want to get caught in manipulation or be caught in the wrong trade. But if you guys want to take it, it's really up to you guys if you guys want to continue taking these trades, if not, if you want to, because the strategy is still there. But the problem with this is that the red flags cause manipulation and it caused a lot of uncertainty with regard to your trade. For me, whenever I take a trade, I want to know for sure it's going to hit. And you guys have seen this in the past. You guys have seen from the results from just January, right? If we go up to January over here, we took just the scalps and a couple PRBs. Our win-loss ratio for that month was 93.3%. So we had a lot of good trades right here. You can see all the trades I took. I took momentum pullback scalps, breakout V3 continuations, V1 variations, etc. And they all worked out pretty decent, right? They all worked out pretty decent. And that was kind of just like where we were at the time. But you can see that we didn't really have as many trades. So if you were to take out the PRBs and the breakout V3s, or actually just PRBs, so for the month of January, we probably had like maybe 12 trades that were regular scalps. And then we added 2 PRBs to it. So it's one of those yawning days. So it's not looking like I'm going to have any official trades for today, guys. Man, go figure. We had a bunch of entries that came up yesterday, a bunch of entries that came up on Tuesday, a bunch of entries that came up on Monday. And the one day that I decided to go back to normal scalping, there is no entries for us. Yeah, it's just the market playing games per usual. Tomorrow is NFP, so expect some higher volatility, which is going to be good for us because I'm tired of trading in like these slow markets. Like it's just, yeah, it's way too slow. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said avoided that nasty loss too. Yeah, that trade, the BB3 here was again, I think I need to figure out a way to fine tune it or for us to pull out of the position early because it seems like if the trade runs for more than 5 minutes or so, it becomes a red flag itself because it's a breakout strategy. Breakout strategy is supposed to hit right away. So anything past 5 minutes, it's no longer a breakout. It turns into a regular day trade. Like for example, here, if you were taking a scalp here, and you can see how price goes back and forth, this turns into a day trade because the scalp is supposed to hit immediately. Like it's supposed to hit like on the next candle. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And looks like pretty much majority of guys here did make profit on the trade, so that's a good thing. So looking over here at the team profits, we had Casey over here. He took the BB3, but he pulled out early. Total profit of 200 for each account, and he has 10 accounts here, so total profit of about 2,000. Nice work, Casey. So solid profits right there. If you guys have any profits post up, feel free to send them in. Like I said, I'm only taking like official trades or official scalps here, which have not come up today. Unfortunately, the ATR is just too low. I mean, it's still low right now, as you guys can see right here. There's not really too much here to work with. Yeah, see this right here. So I'm looking at the other variations. There's like a V3 right here, V3 variation. There's a high with a green candle followed by a red candle. This went down to TP. But I don't think I'm trying to like think about what strategies can be applied during a ranging consolidating market. Because like for a market like this, we can still make profit in it. It's just you have to understand which strategies to apply. So for example, here I looked at this as the variation V3. This could have been a TP. This could have been a TP. This right here, there's a V1 variation. This was a double body. It could have worked out. The V1s actually work very well, and there's also a high level momentum scalp right here too. So there's a lower low, price broke and close past pivots 1 and 2. So if that's a case where the market it continues to consolidate, usually these strategies we use during the summer or the winter when the market's like this every day. If you guys hate this right now, I mean, come prepared because when summer comes around, the market's gonna be like this every single day. This is how the market moves like every summer and every winter during the holidays. So with that said, I'll continue to review the charts. I'll see if there's like maybe we should implement a V1 variation into our strategy because if the market consolidates like this sideways, this is a perfect market for V1 variations, not just V1s, but for V1s, V2s, V3s, etc. The original family of variation strategies, they work well during these sideways strategies and high level momentum scalps as well. I think some of you guys here did catch that one that played through right here. There's a lower low. So if you guys are not familiar with the high level momentum scalp, a lot of you guys called it out during the session earlier. So there's a lower low right here. This momentum signal broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2. It's a super simple strategy. And then it pushed up and then it recreated a new high. And then you could have looked for the same thing downwards if it would have came up. Like this probably would have came up if this candle didn't break and close past the other pivot. But if it did, I mean, it still pushed down a decent amount, 10 points almost. Yeah. So again, right here, there's like another setup. I wouldn't take this trade here, but I'm just going to show you guys the setup that I was just talking about. This right here would be considered a V3 variation. If this candle closes red, this would be considered a V3 variation. I'm not taking the trade, but I'm just going to show you guys. It's at a red flag again. Use price right here. I think this is why we stopped applying this to the scalps, remember? Because like there was a time period where all the entries were like in between all the sessions and they were in between all the news price and we just didn't have a trade for like a whole week. And we were like getting super frustrated. And then we kind of just, stopped taking certain entries. So again, like I said right here, guys, this would be considered a variation V3. It falls within the variation family of strategies. We have 3 different variation strategies: variation V1, variation V2, and variation V3. Variation V3 is the easiest one out of all of them because it's very simple. You're looking for a pending momentum with a high with a green candle, and you're looking for an opposite candle next to it, which would be right here. This type of strategy works very well during ranging markets because you can see that you can catch a lot of these entries that come up back and forth. So price goes up, it comes down. And then right here, we have a low with a red candle and a green candle here. There's no pending momentum, but this is the same pattern that we were just discussing, right? And it would have hit CP there because you can trade in both directions for these types of variations when price is consolidating like this. Pricing comes down right here. There's a green candle right there. There's a pending momentum. So this right here would have been an entry for another variation V3, which would also hit a full TP right there. So We'll think about it. I mean, I don't think price is going to be like this forever. It's still early in the season. We're not in the summer yet. So we're currently in April. So March, April, May, June. June's going to be the obviously the start of summer. And that's usually when the market starts to go sideways. But you also have to factor in the red flags, like news price right there. Yeah. Say said mark my words. BB3 will start hitting from tomorrow. Yeah, it's like it's it's long overdue for it to come back into the street. Are you talking about this one right here, Nick? Pivot scalp? Yeah, it was right at news price. That's why I wouldn't take it because it was right at the this is why the red flags are very important, guys. So there was a pivot scalp here that Nick mentioned. I think this is the one he's talking about. For me personally, I wouldn't have taken this trade because, like I said earlier, you can see if my red flags are here. Yeah, so Nick is talking about this pivot scalp right here, right? You guys can see all the red flags. There's so many red flags in this area. There's a red sell signal here, but you can see down here that there's a pink line. This pink line is news price. So red flags when to avoid trades when price is near news price. So because your entry would have to touch the news price, I wouldn't even take the trade. And this is where the red flags come into play. So it's a good thing that you would have skipped this trade, or this would have been a skip trade, because if you look here, price comes down. I mean, it looks like it might have hit CP, but you can see from this point over here, because it's at news, this is where manipulation happens. Go back real quick. So you guys can see where the manipulation happens right here at the pink line, and it goes straight up. So that's why you don't want to trade where any of these horizontal lines are. I'll always keep up to date with these lines. So if you guys ever look at my charts, at least the main chart, if you look at the main chart, you don't want to trade where any of these lines go left to right. So I'll take off the zone right here, and I'll take off the zone right here. Any of these lines here that go from left to right horizontally, you don't want to trade around those points. You don't want to trade at the red line or green line here. This is going to be the New York high, London high. You don't want to trade at the purple line because this is going to be the Asia high. You don't want to trade at any pink lines because these are news price, and you don't want to trade at the blue line because this is open price. You can trade anywhere over here. Anywhere in the open over here is perfectly fine, but you don't want to trade down here, and you don't want to trade at this line here because that's where manipulation happens. And if you so if I take everything out of this area, and here, just let me turn off all the indicators so that you guys can see the charts better. You guys see where the manipulation is happening, right? It's happening right here where all these lines are. And that's why we don't trade here. So I don't like trading here. I don't like trading here, but I will trade over here because you can see how price moves up here. And this is perfect area to take buys, and this is perfect area to take sells. And you guys can see where the other manipulation happens, which is up here, right? I try to make it as simple as possible. Just don't trade where the lines are. So you see right here, you can get really caught up in fake outs, manipulation, and then same with this up here. If you trade at the opening price, you get caught with fake outs and manipulation right there. But if you trade within this area here, take all buys right here, you're fine. Take all sells right here, you're fine. Because price will go straight to your TP. So I want to make that clear right there so that you guys can see. And there's a reason for everything I do. I don't draw random lines on the chart. I hate when people do that, when they just draw like random lines. They're like, oh, yeah, I don't trade around these areas. And I'm like, what? Doesn't make any sense. But everything I do has logic behind it. There's a reason why I mark up these lines here, and there's a reason they're on the chart. So again, right here, you see where price is it's having trouble getting past this green line. Again, this is a red flag. This is the sessions. It's the New York high and the London high. You don't want to trade around that area. You're okay if price breaks above, and then okay, great. I'll trade within this area right here. Because at this point, I don't have to worry about getting caught in manipulation because price is probably going to climb up from here. So yeah, unfortunately, guys, it looks like there's not going to be any trades for today. For you guys who did take the BB3 earlier, looks like I think everybody pulled out early. So great work to you guys who pulled out early. Like I said, whenever I take those entries on my personal account, I just have to leave them as is because that's where all my data is going. And I'll have a performance tab later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep taking it every year, and I'm taking it on my personal account. So this is like my actual money that I'm risking on those trades. So I have a stake in it. And then at the end of the year, I'm gonna get this performance tab. And you guys will see it. It's let me see if I can actually pull it up on here without showing you guys my my information. Yeah, let's see if I can pull it up for you guys real quick. Because it's a pretty cool performance. I mean, it's yeah, let's see.
Yes. And we're just
I have access to like their live stuff too. All right, let me see if I can just screenshot this real quick. All right, I'm gonna move this over without showing my account. Let me move this over real quick. Without showing my account number. Okay, so here is my my performance for the BB3 for this year so far. And this is like literally what I'm so I'm just gonna keep taking the trades on the accounts. You can see I'm still in profit on my personal account right here. And you can see over here all the data. We've had 68% win rate from March up until now, or from when I started it. And then I'll have all my trades here, pretty much everything lined up. So hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have all the data because I'll keep taking this trade on my personal account every single day. I'll adjust risk and you guys will see what it looks like at the end of the year. So we're barely in April. I'll be taking it every day from like April until December. And then from there, you'll see that the actual numbers of how it works long term. So it's going to be cool. I mean, it's not going to be one of the official things that we'll be taking for a while, but I think it'll be cool so that you guys can see the data for a whole year time versus just a few months. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, unfortunately, it just looks like there's no entries for us to take here today. As I mentioned earlier, guys, if you guys didn't hear from earlier this session, my main focus moving forward is going to be back to our original style of trading, which is high probability scalps. I'll be applying the momentum pullback scalp and the momentum, MPS momentum pullback scalp and the breakout B3 continuation. But I'm also going to be implementing the red flags. So there's going to be some days where price is just going to be in between red flags the entire day. And I'm just going to avoid like pretty much all the entries around those points. And there's going to be some days where price is away from all these points. Like for example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the trades were like so far away from like news stuff, news price and stuff like that, that we had like, I think 3 entries a day that were hitting. So going back to the charts for today, we had no official entries with regard to the scalps. There's no PRB entry. The BB3 here did not hit for the full TP, but a lot of people pulled out when it got really close to its TP up here. Also, looking over here at liquidity, there's only one level of liquidity that got hit here early on in the session. So this one right here got hit. So technically there's 1 win and 1 loss. That's about it. 1 BV3 loss or partial win if you guys pulled out early, and then the liquidity here hit. But for the official trades, I didn't have any trades today because price was pretty much just sitting in the red flag area down here the entire session. So yeah, it's all good. I mean, price is getting close to, so the ATR is still very low. There is a breakout B3 continuation that's starting to set up, but the trend here hasn't confirmed yet. So it's not one that I would personally, I'd personally take or personally look at this moment. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. Typically, my cutoff for trading is going to be around like 740 for the regular scalping, because this is when the volatility starts to die down a lot. You can see the volatility over here was at 12. And now it's down to 9. So we're not expecting anything to happen from now up until maybe like 10 o'clock from today. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, no official trades for today. We'll come back tomorrow fresh, and then we'll come back and hopefully we'll lock in some trades before we wrap up this NFP week. So, all right, guys, any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the next.